Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week I filmed this super easy eye look that is suitable for any beginner with eyeshadow. So pretty much anyone can do this eye look if you're advanced or if you're just starting out. Because I know a lot of my viewers here on YouTube are beginners just starting out with makeup or just exploring different techniques. And also I tried to stick to more affordable products than usual. Because obviously when you're just starting out you probably don't have a lot of money or are not willing to spend a lot of money on makeup. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and if you'd like to see how to do this then just keep on watching.
So whenever you're doing eyeshadow, you're always going to want to do your brows, and for this I'm taking my W7 brow bar and an angled brush. So as you can see, I'm just taking a colour that matches my brows and then filling them in. But I'm just going to speed through this because I have an in-depth tutorial on my channel already, and I'll link that below if you're interested. So the reason why I'm filling my brows in is just you don't want to neglect them when you're doing eyeshadow, or you can tend to look a bit washed out. So then as you can see, I'm just brushing through the brows with a spoolie. Then taking my MAC Painterly paint pot and a bit on a concealer brush. And this is a primer, so this is very important when doing eyeshadow. So you'll want to buff this all over the lid and make sure it's an even coat. And you'll want something that's pretty close to your skin colour. A concealer will work also if you don't have that. Then you're going to set that with a translucent powder or a white eyeshadow or a skin coloured eyeshadow, something like that, anything will work. So then going on to brushes, I'm using 4 brushes for this tutorial. These are the main brushes you'll probably need to create any eye look. So the first brush we have is a blending brush. This is the 224 by MAC, but if you're on a budget, Zoeva have the 228 Luxe Crease brush, which is a good match for that. The next brush is the MAC 217. Now again, if you're on a budget, Zoeva have a great dupe, and this is a smaller blending brush. Then the next one is this Revlon double-ended brush. So on one end we have this smudger brush, and on the other we have an angle brush, as you saw I used for my brows earlier. And the final brush is this little smudger brush. This is exactly the same as the one as before, but I'm just using this for sparkly shadows so they don't get all mixed up. And if you get the sparkles mixed in, your matte shadows won't look as good. So for this tutorial I recommend using Makeup Geek eyeshadows. They are so good and they're very affordable. They're only around $5 each, and the foiled ones are a little more expensive, but we won't be using them today. So we're using these 5 eyeshadows, which pretty much you can create any eye look with. So from left to right there's Creme Brulee, Latte, Cocoa Bear, Mocha, and finally Americano. Again, you don't have to have all of these, but these are just ones that I recommend. So we're starting off with Creme Brulee. This is going to be our transition colour. Whenever you're creating an eye look, you always want to have a transition colour so it helps fade from light to dark and there's no harsh lines or start to stop. It all just looks seamless. So I'm blending that with that big 224. Then taking Latte, which is just slightly darker than the first one we used, and I'm taking that 217, the smaller blending brush. As you can see, I was just showing the different angles. So if you hold it up vertically, you can spread it out a lot more. As you can see how I'm holding it horizontally, that is just gonna keep it more focused in the crease. So it all just depends how you want your eye look to come out. I was just keeping it fairly in the crease and not taking it up too far to the brow bone, because again, if you take it up too far to the brow bone, it doesn't look nice. So then I'm taking this lovely warm brown colour, which is called Cocoa Bear. Again, all these shadows are from Makeup Geek, and I'm keeping that fairly in the crease because we don't want to go too far past the other lighter colours that we use. So the darker the colour you choose, the more low down you want to keep it so that you can really see the transition from light to dark. And after each step you should go in with the blending brush just to make sure all the edges are blended seamlessly. And then I'm taking Mocha, which is a lovely nice dark brown. This is more cool toned, and this is just to add depth. So you can add this to the outer corner to make your eyes look more round and just make them look bigger. and keeping this in the crease is also going to make them look nice and big. So then when you're packing on a dark colour, you want to pat it on, and then as you can see I'm just swiping away any fallout with a powder brush, and then again just going back and blending after every step. Then I'm taking Americana, which is the darkest of the 5 shades that we're using today, and as you can see I'm just packing this really tightly, because you don't want to go with this too far up, because like I was saying earlier, you lose the transition. And then again going back with that big blending brush. So for the lower, I recommend starting with 217, not the big one, and we're just using all the colours that we used before. And for the darker colours, I take the smudger brush and just keep this closer to the lash line. Again, you don't want it to come too far down, otherwise you lose the transition. And then sweep away any fallout after. Then I'm taking my eyelash curler and just curling my eyelashes. Because once you've done your eyeshadow, you want to do your lashes or anything like that. So I'm just applying a mascara, you choose your favourite one, and I like to use one with a smaller wand for the lower lashes because you can really get in there and define them. And then I'm going to apply some false eyelashes. Now you don't have to do this, but some good ones for a starter is Demi Wispies by Ardell. They're really easy to apply, they have a lovely thin band and they just look really flattering on most eye shapes. But the ones I'm using today are from Anitude by Makeup by Anne, and these are the Feisty lashes. Now these are nice and wispy and really natural looking, and I'm using House of Lashes eyelash glue. I recommend this for anyone who's using fake eyelashes. It keeps them on all day, much better than duo glue because it's not latex based, so it keeps them on really nice and securely. It is the best eyelash glue that I've ever tried. I really recommend it to anyone. And you just want to apply them with tweezers. Again, I'm not really going to show much into this, but if you'd like a more in-depth tutorial, please feel free to leave a comment below. So then you want to take a highlight colour. I'm using Nylon by MAC, but Makeup Geek have great dupes, or if you have a favourite, use that. And I'm just taking that on that smudger brush which I showed earlier on the brow bone and the inner corner. By doing this it'll open up the eye and make it look bigger, and putting it on the brow will give a lifted appearance.
Thank you so much for watching. That is the final look. If you're interested in any of the makeup products I'm wearing, obviously I didn't film the rest of the face, so if you're interested in any of that, just leave a comment below. If you like this video, don't forget to check out my others and subscribe, give this video a like, and as always all my social media are linked in the description box, and I'll see you next time. Bye.